Negative 2 and 2/3. How many of you got both those answers? Good job. How many of you got 1? You're on the right track. So make sure that you understand this by Friday. We're going to review this tomorrow though. Vaya se.
Can we do dictionary property for 4 natural ones?
No, you are not treating this like a parentheses. You're trying to isolate this. Good question. Good question. What's up?
You know a fraction. What is that line called?
The fraction bar?
Oh, a fraction.
Yeah, fraction bar. What's up?
Could you get rid of the 4 first, and then you can move?
Oh, let's try it. So if we do our do-undo chart, let's try that. Do-undo chart. Let's see what our do-undo chart tells us. So this question is for you, Leon. Using PEMDAS, let's go ahead and complete our do chart. Using PEMDAS, what's happening to my absolute value term first? Multiplying by what? By 4. What else is happening to my absolute value term? Multiplying? We're subtracting 5. And now using the opposite of PEMDAS, using SADMET, what am I going to do first to undo this?
Divide, add 5.
Add 5.
And
Divide by 4. Always follow your do-undo chart. We must subtract 5 first. It's going to make it a lot easier. Technically, we could get rid of the 4, but you're going to be dealing with fractions, and it's going to get a lot more complicated. We always want to follow this. Okay? Make sure you do this. Yes. Here you go. Any other questions? All right, go ahead and set this aside. It's going to be pretty challenging. Now, so far we've worked with level 1, level 2, and level 3 questions in literal equations, right?
Yes.
So far we've learned how to manipulate those literal equations, but you have not learned how to apply the literal equations in real life. So today you're going to be working with physics, college level physics. Who's scared?
Well, is it not what we did yesterday?
No. It's going to be a little bit more challenging today, but I know you can do it. And then you can show off to people that you're working on college level math. So these problems today, like I said, they're going to be challenging. You're going to have a hard time. Work through it. I'm here to help you. And you have your team to help you. So make sure that you are participating as well. Now, before we move on though, the essential question that I brought up to you guys when we first started this section of the unit, why is it helpful to know how to manipulate literal equations? Remember I asked you guys to keep thinking about that?
Yeah.
Can somebody raise your hand and tell me, so far with what we've done, why do you think it's helpful to manipulate literal equations? Why is it helpful to solve for a variable before we actually plug in the values? This is a hard question. I'm not expecting everyone to know it just yet. You will after today. Why is it?
Then it'll be easier to find what they're doing.
Yeah, makes it easier, right? So if I have a huge, long equation, and it has a million variables, and it has a million letters, if you rearrange it for the one letter that you need to find first, it's going to be easier to then plug in numbers for everything else, right? Because you already found the variable that you want. Make sure that you keep that in the back of your head. I will ask you this question on the exam on Friday. Make sure you understand this as you're going along today.
So what kind of answer that you can accept?
That's a good question. We'll review that tomorrow. Yeah, we'll go through this again tomorrow. And you'll have a clearer picture of how to answer this after today as well. Does anybody have any questions at this point about this? Okay. I'm going to give you 15 seconds to get into. You guys broke the record yesterday, right? Was it you guys or was it for third period? No, you broke the record for raising your hand. You did not break the record for getting into your group. You lost the record.
15 seconds.
All right, here we go. Are you ready? Don't start yet. You're going to need one piece of paper. Once you get into your groups, I should not hear anybody talking. That's my cue that you're ready, and I will stop the timer at that point. You got it? 15 seconds starts now. Go. 5 seconds. that was the 15-second mark. You almost made it. Good try though. That was a really good try. That was 23 seconds. I'm going to give you 1 dojo point for doing it under 30 seconds. Hold on. In your paper, on your paper, go ahead and title it. Make sure you follow the conventions that we learned yesterday. Unit 2. It should start off with Unit 2, colon, literal equations, and go ahead and include the word physics. Solving literal equations of physics. Seconds. Give you the dojo point anyway. So here's what I want you to do. I forgot to mention something. Last week, when you guys were working in groups, yesterday, I noticed that a lot of you were going ahead and not necessarily helping the group mates. So remember, you're part of a study group. You can move ahead, but you have to make sure that your group mates are understanding things as well. So as I'm walking around, I want to hear you not only participating, but helping people as well. So I'm going to be watching for that, giving you dojo points for that as well. Make sure that your group mates are understanding the material. This is tough material. You need to depend on each other. Are you ready? Yep. Are you ready for this? What happened to my paper? Here it is. One more thing, real quick. In this piece of paper, you're going to see some big words. They're huge words. They are physics words. You have not learned what they mean yet. That is fine. You do not need to know what they mean as long as you know how to manipulate the equations that's being presented. So, if you really want to know, I can tell you. But make sure that you're focusing on the equation. Good boy? No, that's not a real.
Wait,